All right, great. So tonight I'm going to talk about some of the distinctions between working with InDesign as a graphic design program and working with Illustrator as a graphic design program. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start in Illustrator, and under Window I'm going to go to Arrange, and I'm going to look down here under Arrange where it says Workspace, and I'm going to change my workspace, which is now in the Tracing workspace, to the Essentials workspace, and then make sure that it's really reset. So I'm going to go Window, Workspace again, and then choose Reset Essentials, and I don't know what I chose there. Workspace, Reset Essentials. Okay, so that's really now reset. So this is the Essentials workspace in Illustrator. In Illustrator, for the most part, you're going to be making individual graphic elements, and at least in my view, content with type and graphics on it. When you're working with text, however, if you're talking about creating a multi-page document like a magazine or a report or some kind of a multi-page handout publication, you probably want to use InDesign, because Illustrator will let us make a multi-page document, but not quite as a book style. It's more like one-offs. So in Illustrator is where I would likely want to design my logo. And once that's designed, I will likely want to design my business card in here, because it has a front and a back. I can do it in one Illustrator document, but for lack of a more eloquent way of saying this, it's kind of a pain in the neck to try to make a multi-page document. It's kind of a pain in the neck to make a multi-page document that's like 8.5 by 11 page, many of them, in Illustrator. It's more for like an invitation or a poster, something where you really want to style what you're doing and work with really strong tools, but where there's a strong element of graphic design, graphics, drawn things, constructed geometric things, okay? And if you look in Illustrator, this is the workspace, and it just starts me off with just one page as my document. When I go and create a new document here, I don't have a choice of making number of pages. I have a choice of making number of artboards. Artboards would be likely to be something more like a giant desk that you have, where maybe you have an illustration board. Like in the old days, you would tape your board to your desk and make sure it was square with a T-square. And then maybe over here you might have another piece of paper that's also squared, where you might be designing your business card, but it's highly unlikely that you would have many pieces taped to your board, because you'll mess them up. In this metaphor that they're doing, they're letting us have more than one artboard. So if I want to have 3 artboards here, I can make the artboards at this point all the same, but I can't really make them all different, which is weird, but that's what I can do. If I go to templates, I can look in here and see that there are banner ad templates, labels templates, card cases. There's really no business card in here, which you would think this is cards in, well, here it is, business cards. Okay, so business cards. So this is a template, do that, and now it's given me a bunch of different presets here that I can go figure out what size they are. This is a set of artboards, as if you had a giant desk with illustration board taped to it. Okay, that's not pages. I generally don't start like that, and you can add, instead I'll start like, here's my first board, and this board is an 8.5 by 11 board. If I come over here to this tool, this is the artboard tool, I can click and drag out and create a new artboard later on in time. Once I decide I might want another one, after I've designed the logo, maybe I'll make a business card board here and start moving some of the things from here to here and designing in 2 spaces at once, kind of thing. Front and back of the card can also be done, so I can have a document that has more than one space on it. All right, now I'm going to flip over to InDesign. In InDesign, I already have a document open. I'm going to reset the workspace window, and I'm going to come to Workspace, and I'm going to go to Essentials, and I'm going to reset Essentials, and now that put everything back I don't know, I have this fear of not really truly resetting, so I'm going to reset essentials. Yes, that's really it. Okay. Do not have that workspace memorized. These are libraries. I'll talk about that another time. Swatches, I probably need open. And then I have pages over here. And pages shows me the number of pages in a document. So when I come into this program, I can make one of three things: a document, an individual document with multiple pages, a book, which would be a collection of documents. Perhaps we're all writing an anthology and you're going to send me your section of the book, but you'll send me your document and I will put it into a larger document called a book. If you're all writing your document, I put it into my book. And this is a way you can organize multiple documents and do numbering and create indexes and tables of contents and all kinds of jazzy appendix material and whatnot. And then there's a library. And a library in InDesign is a place where you can save elements such as a logo, a color palette, a grid used for layout that you might want to use multiple times and not have to measure all over again. Very, very helpful thing. And so here I've now started a library. The new libraries allow me to collate and share my content using the cloud. I can migrate items from old InDesign to cloud libraries and share them with my pals. Do I want to try this out right now? Well, I sort of feel like I have to. All right, there it is. So it says CC libraries, and so I'm sure there's features in here where I can send it to Steve or whatever, okay? For the meantime, not the main time, we'll come back to libraries later. I'm just going to stick this down here. I'm going to create a new document now, file new in InDesign. So first I did a library and it popped open that little window, which I said I'll talk about more later. And then I'm going to go to document. And when I go to the new document panel in InDesign, I now have my document dialog box. I can choose to have facing pages, book style or not. If I click this off, I have pages like this, one under the other. You know, you staple them. Whereas if I choose facing pages, I have book style. I'll let this be off because I have this one. This one's facing pages, so we can compare and contrast. And I will make another set of pages. I'm just going to guess here that I'm going to need 12 pages. Now, in this InDesign document, I am going to use a thing called primary text frame. There, I clicked that on. A lot of times I don't use this, but tonight I'm going to be showing you how to take a long document and put it in like automatically. And so if you know that you already have something typed like in Word or in an email, or you're copying and pasting from one place into here, this is a good option to use when you know you have a lot of type and you want to get it in there fast without messing around. And you'll understand more what I mean about messing around later. This is like much more efficient. So I'm going to click OK. And now if I use this is the selection tool, and I click, you'll see that there is already a text box there, and the pages are lining up one under the other. Pretty obvious what that's about. I'm going to use InDesign now to start talking about some of the principles of graphic design. And before I do that, I'm going to save this as, and I'm going to save it as to my desktop as Astrology Basics. Okay. All right. If I tab over here to the Finder, in the window that I'm in, you can see I have a graphic, okay, and I have a couple of different text documents. There's a text document here, and if I go into my OpenOffice program, I use this instead of Word because it's free. It is open source software that basically has all the same things that Word has, except that it's, don't be broken. No brokening. Okay, it looks a little weird, but it looks okay. All right, so basically it's just a whole bunch of text already in a document. This could as well be a Word document. It's just that I'm using OpenOffice instead of Word. So far, so good? All right, so I think this is probably a good breaking point. And so I'm going to stop here. This is the introduction to what we're about to do, which is talk about the principles of graphic design and also do a comparison of Illustrator and InDesign. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do stop recording.